Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. Won't you share with a friend or two? Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. You. Good morning, good morning to you. And many more. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome, welcome, welcome to Daring Dialogues, Black Table Talk Edition. I am your host today, Shantae Charles. If you've never been with me or you're with me for the first time, go ahead in the comment section and tell me where you are signing in from. Just give me a state or a country. You don't have to give me a city, but just a state where you're signing in from, or country where you are signing in from. If you notice, the title of today's broadcast is "What in the World?" For us, it is Teachable Tuesday, and we're going to be talking all things that we want to talk about, but mainly connected to Black people, Black life, Black polity. Let's start out today by honoring the voice of Nikki Giovanni, who passed away either yesterday or the day before that. I want to say yesterday. So a lot of people woke up to the news. A lot of people were going to bed to the news that Nikki Giovanni had passed away. And we say rest in power. We thank her for her amazing life, the amazing work that she left behind. And I do have here before me an anthology of African American literature. I'm going to see if I can find any of her work in this one. But if not, um, I have my tablet in front of me. So if I don't see her work, I will go to my tablet. But yeah, her passing definitely hit quite a bit of us right in the gut because of her influence on poetry, her influence on women's rights, her influence on understanding the Black community through her writing, through her poetry. And I was listening to one of her talks last night, and she said something very powerful. She said, when she passes away, she doesn't want to hear people who are not Black speak on her. And then she said, because they don't realize that Black love is Black power. And I said, man, bars, bars. Black love is Black power. So she's not in this anthology, so let me go ahead and look up one of her writings here. And it's very interesting because she passed away um, not too far from me. She passed away in Virginia. So let's see if we can find one of her poems because I do want to honor her today in that way. Let's see. This one is called Black History Month by Nikki Giovanni. If Black History Month is not vital, then wind does not carry the seeds and drop them on fertile ground. Rain does not dampen the land and encourage the seeds to root. Sun does not warm the earth and kiss the seedlings and tell them plain, you're as good as anybody else. You've got a place here too. One more. This one is called Biography. There is a bat in Chile named Microniteris giovanni. Dr. Robert Baker named it after me. He discovered it while studying bats and thought the big ears were just like me. Maybe if the bat wrote, she would be a poet. There's a plague in Lincoln Heights. Excuse me. There's a plaque in Lincoln Heights where I went to school, and a plaque in Knoxville across the street where my grandparents lived. I'm also lucky to have awards and daydreams, or is that daydreams and awards? And I'm lucky to be happy at what I do and how I do it. So that this is bio, I'm here. And if I missed an emotional soil, a weed will grow. Make me rain. Let me be a part of this needed change. Nikki Giovanni. Rest in power to Nikki Giovanni, and condolences to her family, her extended family, her and those who loved her best and well. I want to read you a motivation for African American success because by the time I get through today, you might not be feeling so happy. So we're going to start with the happy stuff first. All right. Today's reading is called Going with the Flow. Again, this is taken from Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbrough. Mary Frances Berry, educator and activist, said this: the question is not always where we stand, but in which direction we are headed. Life is showering its gifts upon us at this very moment. A force of love and light is streaming towards you from all angles at all times. All you have to do is allow it to pour in. Blessings are being offered to all of us without conditions or limit. We can look at our capacity through the symbol of the hourglass. God's infinite abundance is above us, waiting for us, waiting to flow down. And like an hourglass, we have the space to hold it all. Our mind is located at that skinny little juncture of the upper and lower vessels. It regulates how much can come through. If our mind is small, tight, and fearful, only a few meager grains will drop down. However, if our mind is open, free, and expansive, all of God's riches can pour through. We receive as much as we let in. Positive thinking means seeing the blessedness in everything. It requires a complete revision of the way we view life. It means tearing down our judgments and opinions of what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. It means having an open mind. And with this open mind, we can receive all the blessings that the Creator has to offer. Say it with me today. I open my mind to prosperity, happiness, and health that my Creator has to offer. Now, let's get down to some of the what in the world that I have been seeing online and in the news. We know that there are several big stories that are out right now. One is the UHC CEO story. As more is coming out, I'm the person who believes in reading newspapers, articles, and the such. I did read the manifesto that was released. Um, they are purporting that it is his manifesto, that he released it. So I did go and I read the whole thing, and that helped me to understand a little bit more about why this person that people are saying it's not characteristic of them to have done this. It helped me to understand a little bit more about why they may have in fact done it. Um, First off, he is a Marylander. And I said to myself, because I've been here in Maryland for about a decade now, I said to myself, yeah, this sounds like something a Marylander would do. And again, I'm not, let me be clear, I'm not laughing at what happened, but looking at the personality of Marylanders, it sounds like something that a Marylander would do. Um, and I would I would almost liken what he was trying to do, if you read his manifesto, almost like in a John Brownish of 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 healthcare. If you know who John Brown is, you know the reference. Um, and so reading his manifesto, he kind of explained that he's very anti-capitalistic, even though he comes from a wealthy background. He explained that someone in his family went through the process of trying to go through the right channels to get their health taken care of, and those channels were slow, or those people added more, telling them they needed more documentation, or they were denied certain things, or the treatments that they were going to or being recommended were actually not treatments that needed to even happen. And um, you could sense, as I was reading his manifesto, you could sense the frustration, the outrage with the process. And then he talked a little bit about his own ailment and what he had been dealing with. And then looking at his profile, we saw that he came from a wealthy family, um, not 20 minutes from where I am. And so he had the means to get done what he got done. He had a motive to get done what he had done, got done, and he had the opportunity. Now, as far as the latest things that I read on it, he is now saying that some things are not true, that some evidence is being planted on him, which is an interesting turn. But that's pretty much the information that is out right now. Um, he's saying that some things were planted. He's not denying his part in the pew pewing, and his background does give him means and motive for what went down. I think Dr. Stacy Patton also made a point, a valid point, in saying that we might actually see more of this kind of behavior, of privileged people feeling like they have been done wrong, or that they are oppressed by systems, beginning to act out. I found it also very interesting that he started out his manifesto by talking about Martin Luther King, Gandhi, and I forget the other person, but he basically essentially said, here's what they have to say about solving problems in the world. And his view was, well, sometimes nonviolence doesn't work. And if you know anything about the makeup of American culture, um, as I told someone the other day, American culture is a culture of violence. The foundation of how this country was founded on violence. So, I mean, I don't understand why people are acting shocked that he would, you know, revert to violence to prove his point, or to make a point. And again, as I said to someone before, this country is a criminal enterprise. So if you wanted a reason why this country chose the incoming person that we saw tear up the country previously, and they're going to put him back in office, if you want a simplified version of why this country is a criminal enterprise, they weren't interested in having a top cop as president, because then that would mean that the top cop as president would be actually addressing criminal enterprises. And this country was built on criminal enterprises. Therefore, it makes absolute sense when you understand that. It makes absolute sense that they would put a criminal back in office so criminals can keep criminalizing. That's what happened. All right. So if you want a simplified understanding of why we're getting a second term of the person we're getting, America is a criminal enterprise. Okay. Don't take my word for it. Go to your library, Check out a few books on American history, real American history, research documented, fact checked, and read through them, and you will see that your country, our country, was a criminal enterprise. Its founding was a criminal enterprise. So we should not be shocked when we see that people say, if I can't get what I want, I'm going to resort to violence in order to get it, because that is quintessential American behavior for this country. Just understand that. Does everybody act that way, or does everybody act on that? No. But if we look at our country's founding, why are we shocked? Why are we surprised by what we're seeing? We shouldn't be shocked, and we shouldn't be surprised. Um, the second thing that has sort of hit the news in the last couple of days, and that is the issue with um, the filing on what's his name, Jay Z. All right, there's different reports. There's conflicting reports about the validity of the filing. So we're not going to get into it on this platform. I am definitely a facts and proof need to be out before we start pontificating about whether or not someone is guilty or not. Um, I just saw an image that came out this morning as I was briefing myself on it, and the image shows that he was not in the same place as he is being accused of being. So he has photographic evidence that he was not, in fact, where they're saying he was. Again, that's going to continue to play out. So we'll keep our eyes on that story. Now, I want to talk a little bit about things that we need to leave in 2024. One of the things we need to leave in 2024 is misogyny. We've been having a conversation for a couple of days now on this page about the dating pool. Now, I am not in the dating pool. I am married. I am married, so I'm not in the dating pool. However, I am looking at those who are on my page who are in the dating pool who are saying the dating pool has pee in it. And I said, oh, it does. Well, let's investigate that a little, shall we? So Facebook, once that statement was made, Facebook switched my algorithm over, and I noticed it right away because I was getting posts that I have never gotten. I was seeing posts that I had never seen before. I was hearing about people I had not seen before. So people in my comment section were schooling me on who these people were. And after I got done reading what these people have been posting, I came to my conclusion that yes, some of you are correct. There is pee in the dating pool. And I apologize for you because you all have a challenge. You have a challenge um, to find someone who is not on some bull hockey, because I don't use the other word. Yeah. Um, one instance was a post asking, are women too comfortable? Are women too comfortable being alone? You can never be too comfortable being alone. Some of us need to learn how to be by ourselves. Some of us need to learn how to be content with ourselves. Some of us need to learn who ourselves are before we join ourselves with somebody else. So you can never be too comfortable being alone. The other statement was by socialite. I want to say she's an actress now. I think she's either going to be in a movie or has been in a movie. Steve Harvey's daughter, Lori Harvey. Now, say what you want to say about her dating habits, which are really none of any of our business. But coming online to do a whole think piece about how you feel about her saying that she is the prize in her relationship, that's crazy. And the number of men, because I took my time, it had to be at least 500 comments. Um, I believe the guy, he's maybe a comedian that decided to do a post on her to say he's not blaming her for saying that she is the prize. He's blaming the men that get with her. And then he said, she's not the prize. We should both be the prize. And I said, okay, let's peel apart a little bit his reasoning. And his reasoning was that because she is pretty, she hasn't accomplished anything and she's only riding on her father's name. And so her father's name, her father's wealth. And so she's taken the position that she is the prize. And you know what? I'm good with that. Because why shouldn't she feel like she is valuable? So I said, okay, let me go to the comments and let me take a look at what people are saying about her thoughts on herself, that she is the prize in the relationship. And I will say this, there were men and women, but primarily men. But there were a few women mixed in saying that she has no right to value herself in a relationship as the prize. They said she is not the prize. Many of them went further than that to say really nasty, disparaging comments about her. Many of them went on to say she is ran through. Many of them went on to say she doesn't deserve what she thinks she deserves. And you know what I did? I went to all of those profiles and I went to take a look at the men who were saying this. Every single one of the profiles had 300 or less followers, sometimes 29 followers. No one was engaging with them on their pages. And the sad part was a lot of them had young children, particularly daughters. So my question is, if you are a grown man on the internet with daughters, rolling around the internet in people's comment section saying that women are not the prize, and you have daughters, what are you going to be teaching your daughters? Are you going to be teaching your daughters that they're not prizes? That no man has to respect them, no man has to value their opinions about themselves? Are you telling them that they aren't anything to write home about? What is the conversation going to be in your house? Now, mind you, after I looked at all those profiles, I went back to their name and I blocked them and any other page that they might create. Because you know why? I don't want any of that coming into my 2025 at all. None of that energy. And so I was thinking about that today and I said, man, women who have been saying for quite some time now that there is pee in the dating pool, I'm going to have to agree with them because what I saw last night and what I read through and what I went to go examine was not good. And let me say this, 99% of them were black men with black children and black daughters. I didn't see very many pictures of the men who were talking in this way. I didn't see very many pictures of them with a woman in their life. But they had all the smoke for Steve Harvey's daughter, Lori Harvey. And so you'll see on my page, if you scroll down, I actually posted the picture of the person saying the disparaging stuff and their comment. And then I said to myself, I should have screenshotted every last one of them and put their comment with their picture so people could see this is a whole problem. This is a whole problem. And the reality was, when you go to the pages and you're looking at what their qualifications are, none of them would fit in the category of what some deem as, quote unquote, a high value man. So I said, what is going on here? Because clearly, right, with the freedom that we have with social media, we also have, or we should have, a responsibility with what we're saying. But none of them felt any of that responsibility because they were dragging this girl from one end of the internet to the other end. And I'm quite sure she probably doesn't know any of them. And so, again, behaviors that need to be left in 2024: misogynoir, dislike for black women, behavior that we need to take over into 2025: communication with each other, behavior we need to take over into 2025: leaving these dating pools behind that have pee in them, behavior that we need to take over into 2025. I don't want to see any more reels about people popping balloons on each other based on surface ideologies. That was another thing. Because once people in my comment section started talking about this subject, all of a sudden the algorithm started feeding me all of these videos. And I looked at a few, and again, I said, this is stuff we don't need to take with us as a community into 2025. There is so much more important things in terms of our community and the connections that we're going to need to have to support each other, that we really don't have time for some of these manufactured arguments that people are making. So I know for me in 2025, I'm definitely going to be looking for people who have a moral compass, people who have a sense of direction, people who have a sense of focus for what they want to see happen that's positive in our community. And I'm also going to be focused on people who want to build healthy relationships, because the stuff that we've been seeing in 2024, the things that have been fed into the community, the arguments and the black man versus black woman commentary, the degrading of black women commentary, all of that stuff, we need to leave it in 2024. Another young lady made a really good suggestion. She said, I can't believe how much peace flooded into my soul and how much lighter I felt when I began to get rid of the social media platforms that only feed upon what's happening that's negative in the community. The social media platforms that only feed upon gossip, the platforms that are only talking about the things that harm us rather than the things that help us. And they, of course, they named some social platforms, and I was like, I don't follow them anyway. I don't follow them anyway. One more time, I don't follow them anyway. And so there's just certain content that, unless Facebook pushes it into my algorithm and forces it into my news feed, I'm not seeing those things. Because the reality is, some of it is just not important to where we as a people need to get to and need to go. Right now, you should be securing your community. Right now, you should be finding out who are the black owned businesses local to you, grocery stores, service products, um, hair care, all of those things, fresh foods, farms, um, places to get your transportation and your technology service. Where are the black owned ones? This would be the time to be finding that out, not January 20th. All right. So I hope I have said something that is helpful today. I want people to um, take a moment, evaluate where you are right now, evaluate your 2024. If you did not like the way things went this year, think about what you need to do right now to start making adjustments so that January 1st, you are off to a good run, you're off to a good start. Look at your social media content. Really look at it. Look at the pages that you're connected to and think about what have they been feeding you all year. Has it been positive? Has it been uplifting? Has it brought any more financial uh, acumen to you? Has it increased you in your knowledge of health, wealth, and wisdom? If it hasn't done those things, evaluate whether or not you want to keep those things going into 2025. All right. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues Black Table Talk Edition. If we have some time here, and hopefully I'll be able to bring him on camera and have him to dialogue with us for a bit. Pastor Ben, if you're there, try to see if you can click on so I can add you. If you are looking and watching by YouTube, I want to thank you for your time and attention. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness, so continue to go out and be light. All right, so I want to take